coming back for part two. So,
we got Alex back.
Take one.
Take one.
All right, here we go. All right, everybody. My name's Alex Arredondo. Gonna be going to part two of the interview. It's a continuation. As I left off in the last one, I was explaining on how I had a dream. I wasn't at the school anymore, at St. Gerard's High School. I wasn't there anymore. I had already moved on. I had a dream that I got a group of investigators to go investigate the school, but I could not get in there because I hadn't worked there or I wasn't working there anymore. So I stood outside and let them go do what they had to do. And it was all the way until the morning. I told them, hey, we got to get out of here because, the sun's going to come up and they're going to start coming back to school. Mm-hmm. So they did, they finished and everything. So that night, I actually dreamt about the school. And in my dream, I had named every spirit that I know that's in that school. It's like they were coming into my dream, like they were calling me back, like they wanted me to go back, because I had already left. Because I pretty much, knew all of them or was communicating with them, or they would mess with me, they even scratched me a couple of times, as in the first part one you saw. So when I woke up from that dream, I have a little stress button, sounds like a doorbell. So as I woke up, I heard that doorbell, ding dong, ding dong, and it kind of made me, like, okay, somebody's trying to communicate with me. I figured since I dreamt the school and the spirits by name and everything, it was like a sign telling me, hey, yes, you were dreaming of us. We want you back. That's what it felt like. It felt like that to me.
Oh, wow.
So, that was kind of interesting on how that, I don't think I've ever believed I've had them, come into my dreams to like want me to go back to the school. So maybe because whoever there's now, they didn't, they weren't like me communicating with them. I know you're here. I feel you. I know that you're around, and that's probably what gave them, hey, where'd he go? Let's go look for him. Yeah. So they came in my dream to look for me.
Wow.
So that was that part, and then going back to like when I was talking for Clown Boy. Mm-hmm. Clown Boy is a different spirit besides the rest of them. He was really, really mischievous. He would hide the principal's keys, mess with her big time, because I don't know. Physically, more mentally.
Yeah.
More mentally, because I guess I don't know. She showed more fear.
Right.
She showed more fear.
Right.
She showed more fear because she would always call me, Mr. A, are you coming to the school tonight? I hear whispering. I'm getting out of here. Can you lock up and everything? I said, yes, ma'am. I'll be there. I'm on my way. I'll take care of it. So, the one thing that stood out to me is that she was painting the whole upstairs by herself. She was going to town on that. She painted the whole hallways, and she did an awesome job. And then she called me and she said, Mr. A, you know what happened? I said, no, man, what happened? She goes, I was painting the whole hallway. We were in the meeting, the coaches and I were in the meeting, and we heard a bang, like the door. So then we all got up, we looked outside, there was nothing. So then they went back to their meeting, and again, bang. She said the door banged again. So they got up and they walked to the door. They opened the door and they saw 3 small fingerprints, or the like these 3 right here, like mess up the paint job that she was doing.
No.
So Clown Boy was trying to get their attention to draw them outside, so they could see that little what he did. Like, hey, look, I messed up your paint job.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
No, he always loved to mess with that principal.
Yeah.
All the time. So I mean, he loved to do that. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Clown Boy, when I went back the second time, because I was there 2 times, 4 years, off 2, then went back 4. Well, on my first time back, there at the school, I had a cap that had the R for Royals. They were Royals. So there was only 2 caps in that school, one for the coach and one for me.
Okay.
So one time at dinner time, I was in there, I had finished eating, and then I heard a bang. It seems like he always wants to get your attention with a bang. He draws you out, he's like, oh, you're like, what was that? Let me check that out.
Yeah.
That's how he gets you, he draws you out. Because you want to see what it is.
Yeah.
You're like, what was that? Let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's go find out.
Let me go check it out.
And he was that powerful to do that too.
Yes.
Because not all of them could make noises like that.
That's true.
So
very
that's
true.
Good.
So, of course, I said, let me go outside. Let me look out, because the schools have the doors where they have that little window, so you can look out. Mm-hmm. So, as I looked out, I see the Royals cap that I have, the same one that I have on. It was floating in air.
What in the world?
Going around go toward the kitchen.
Yeah.
Cafeteria.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. I said, am I seeing that right?
In the world?
Yeah, and it was floating, just like floating like that. Just like.
How many feet up?
Cap like this.
How many feet up would you say from the floor?
4 feet.
4 feet.
4 feet. So imagine this cap. It was just going like this.
Yeah.
All the way around to the cafeteria.
Wow.
So after I said, you're like, okay, am I seeing right?
Yeah.
See the Royals cap and everything,
Yeah.
So then I went out there and I went to go look, and around the corner it was gone.
It was gone.
So then I went upstairs to the gym to say, hey, anybody see a little dude like this with a cap, And they said, no. So no, it's probably Clown Boy,
Yeah.
So he was in my thing. He was trying to say, hey, remember me? Because I had just gotten back. He was already telling me, showing me, hey.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm still here. I remember you.
Yes, I remember you. You remember me.
I got your cap.
Yes, he was mimicking me, man. He had my cap on. I said, hey, there's only 2 people that have caps like that. That was crazy. So, he would always do something like that. He was hide keys. Principal had everybody looking for him, and he was just doing stuff like that.
Would you say he was, besides mischievous, because that does sound like he's mischievous, would you say he was evil?
I want to say he could be. He can be.
Evil.
A lot of stuff happened there to me in that school.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
No, if he
It was that. I wouldn't put it past him. That school, like I said before, is the most haunted high school in San Antonio, Texas.
What's the name of that school again?
St. Gerard's High School.
Where's that located in San Antonio?
Off of South New Braunfels. I believe it's Nevada or Iowa.
East
Nevada.
side.
On the east side.
East Central area.
Yes, east. Well, east side, by the YMCA. There's a YMCA that's right next to it.
It's kind of close to downtown, right?
Kind of close to downtown, yes. Where all the cemeteries are at.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll repeat it again.
Mm-hmm.
St. George's High School was built over a cemetery, a pauper's grave. So I believe that's why there's so much activity. Now, we had a new employee that started there, and the spirits were really messing with that new employee. I don't know if it's something they didn't like. I don't know what she was doing. They noticed something, but they had her scared. I mean, big time. I remember where another employee and the employee that I'm talking about were walking toward the gym. And I happened to be right there, and when I was following them to see what was going on, the new employee in question turned around, saw me, and yelled a big old scream. I mean, like, ah!
Oh my goodness.
Just like that. And
Why?
she was startled. And I'm like, what? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just standing here. So then she was all freaked out, you know. And man, I mean, to be that freaked out, that means those spirits were really after her. After her. They you know, they had to be, because if somebody's like, the spirits are after you like that, you're gonna be scared.
Yeah.
So then, after that little happened right there, I went up to the office to start cleaning. Well, they ended up, those two employees, the new employee that I'm talking about too, they ended up at the foyer as soon as you walk into the school. So I looked out the window where everybody checks in. She turned around and saw me again, and she did it again.
Did it again.
And I'm like, what the heck? But then this time, she was crying.
She was crying.
She started crying like a baby. I mean, tears.
Oh man.
I mean, like, scared big time. And I was like, what the heck? So right there, that told me that something was going on with the spirits in her.
Yeah.
They didn't like her or something. You know, there had to be a reason, you know, for that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to be like that unless they're messing with you.
Did she ever say anything to you about it?
She told me that she would hear like whispering, talking, you know, or, you know, like toward her, you know, like she didn't
in her
see
ear
anybody.
whispered? Did she say that?
I believe so. I think she did say it was in her ear, and she just felt uneasy.
She just felt like a sense.
Yeah, she felt the sense like there, and she was scared. I mean, they were really scaring her. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get like that.
Yeah.
Like physically, where she's traumatized.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, for her to cry.
Yeah, that must
For
have
her
been a
to
big
cry.
impact.
You know, that's
Yeah.
playing with your mind, your
emotions,
emotions, everything. I mean, she literally was crying, man.
Wow.
You know, and that right there showed me something that, you know, man, that was crazy. You know, so
Do you know if it actually hurt her at all? Like it would touch her,
I didn't hear her ever mention.
or she didn't say nothing like that?
She never mentioned like physical,
Mm-hmm.
but mentally.
Like mentally.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
I mean, it was real bad. I
Yeah.
mean, but she must have done something they didn't like, or you know, because spirits are everywhere.
That's true.
They hear you. They hear everything you say. And on that note, I'm gonna move on to this one.
Okay.
The principal, I had told the principal, you know, that I do investigating and everything, but I never would hear voices. I never heard disembodied voice. And I would say, man, I go, everybody else hears voices.
Like a Class A
Class A live
voice with
live
your own
voice
ears.
with your own ear. That's called a disembodied voice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was in her office, in the principal's office, explaining that, and I was like, golly, you know, man, I want to hear that voice. You know, I haven't heard it. You know. So then, kid you not, what did I just say?
Mm-hmm.
Spirits are listening.
Yep.
The very next day, I was in the cafeteria cleaning. This teacher walks in. Hey, Mr. A, how you doing? You know, doing all right and everything. I said, oh yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you? And everything okay? Yeah, all right. So, and mind you, this was the very next day. So she left the cafeteria. I started mopping right kind of like close to the restroom and outside the cafeteria. So then I hear, hey, Mr. A, how you doing? And I turned around thinking it was her again. It was nobody.
Wow.
Wow.
Got it.
Got to hear my
So
disembodied
it was
voice.
actually letting you know we heard you.
Exactly.
So I'm letting you listen to
Exactly.
hear us out.
I was excited. I was like, wow, finally. It's like, right there I knew, I said, they were listening.
Mm-hmm.
They were listening.
They could hear you.
Yes. You know, they're everywhere. They were listening and they said, okay, you haven't heard it? we'll do
tell
it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, I was so excited. I mean, man.
Did you ever see like a, you know how, is a double ganger? Where you see like maybe you saw her, but it wasn't her.
I didn't get, like, the teacher, you mean? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just heard the voice.
You just heard the voice.
All I heard was the voice. The same voice.
The same
The
voice.
same voice. Hey, Mr. A. And
Wow.
it was nobody. So I went, I knew it right there and then.
You already knew.
I knew it right there and then, man.
Wow.
That was what I was wanting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, it blew my mind because it was the very next day. You know?
And it was clear.
It was clear as day.
Wow.
I thought she had walked back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what me and Jonathan and her were in the cell at the jail,
Yeah.
and she said, "Did you hear something?" And right after she said that, me and Jonathan both heard a growl. She didn't hear it,
Yeah.
but we both heard a growl. But she did. We caught it on video.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on
wow.
It was
Cool.
crazy.
Yeah, see, you know, it's
So it's
weird.
like that because they heard it with their own ears.
Yeah,
And I was in the
it's-
cell, so
okay,
I didn't
now.
hear it.
They choose who hears it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I think.
They wanted
That
to
they
make sure
choose.
they heard it.
They choose who hears it. That's mind blowing right there.
Yeah.
You know, how can it? Two people can hear it and the other one can't. You know,
Mhm.
it's you know, this is all new. This is stuff we're trying to find out.
Exactly.
You know.
We're trying to figure out.
Okay, now this one's gonna be funny, really. We did an investigation with the authorization of the principal, and it was a group that went in there, and myself, and it was in the library. We had just got into the library, and these investigators were like provoking. They were provoking. And come on, do something. Come on, man, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing.
Wow.
There was one that stood out doing that. Come on, man, you ain't doing nothing. Come on, man. Show something. Do something. Well, at that second, that library is about maybe 50 feet. If you walk into the library from right to left, it's a good 50 feet long, maybe even
Wow.
longer.
Yeah.
All right. And at that time, they had the blinds that were like square and about 4 inches wide, just like panels, like this.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all touching, just like that. They were like that, touching all the way across. Well, right after that person said that, all of a sudden, you hear bang! All 50 feet of those blinds just moved. Like somebody like the spirit got his hand, or just
Oh my goodness.
bang!
Wow.
So that, needless to say, that guy said, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm
Yeah,
gone.
of course.
And then,
Of course he's gonna leave now.
yeah. And then I'm like, where you going? I said,
Yeah.
you're the one who wanted
And now,
you
starting
wanted
to get
something.
juicy. Why are you leaving?
Why are you leaving?
Oh, man.
You know? Oh, come on, man, you asked for it.
Exactly.
You know? So he ended up leaving right away.
Wow.
You know? He said, I'm out of here. I said, well, you asked and you received.
Exactly.
You
He
know?
asked and he received and he checked
But
it
see,
out.
those spirits, okay, that shows you too that that spirit says, okay, you want to be like that? I'm going to show you. You know? He could have just done something little. He didn't do nothing little. He did the major show, man.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Scared him.
It takes a lot of energy to do that much, you know,
Yeah,
with the
that's-
blinds, man.
that's
Just
a lot.
I'll never forget that, you know. So then, needless to say, he left, and then we just continued. But like I said, that school is crazy. That school has a lot of activity. And then I remember there was a substitute that came in to work the office. We were walking outside the office toward the principal's office. Her door was open, and as we were walking, the door just slammed. It like came forward and then slammed. All the papers came off and everything.
Wow.
And I told the substitute, I said, did you see that? She goes, yeah, I saw that. I said, oh. I said, maybe they don't like you, that maybe they think you're taking over the other person's job, you know? They thought you were new, I guess. I tell you, if you're new, they're gonna, I'll tell you something, they try you. They're gonna try you there if you're new, you know? So, like I said, that
They
place
don't
is
like
pretty-
change, I think.
They don't like change.
They don't like change.
That's exactly right. They do not like change at all. You know, and they've gone through so many principals there, so, you know, they're probably like messed up, you know, like, hey, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
Anything else about the high school that maybe you experienced or that you know of other people that you worked with, experienced?
This teacher that I know that after I left, he had two pianos in his classroom. So one day, while they were having class, you could hear one of the notes playing. Ding! And all the kids were like, he said all the kids were like, did you hear that? You know? So the next day, the other piano. Ding! Same thing. So they were like, wow, you know, like 2 days in a row, you know? So they were just, the spirit was like, hey, you know what, we're here, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so, but there's so many things that happens in that school, you know, that unexplainable. I mean, I know it's like we were saying, if you're new, they're gonna test you out. Guarantee.
I thought something was good.
All right. As I already finished up with the school, St. Gerard's High School. Like I said, that's the most haunted high school in San Antonio, Texas. Like I said before, I remember in Halloween time, October, they would put out a list, and St. Gerard's wasn't even on it. And
wow.
everything else that was on there only had one instance. You know, they just saw something move, whatever, just one. I mean, St. Gerard's I was there 8 years, so you've heard all my experiences, you know, and probably some more, but I mean, those were the main ones in 8 years. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That has to be
That's
the
a
number
lot.
one haunted high school in San Antonio, Texas.
Would you say they're keeping it hush?
No, I just think that you said that. I was since I was there being a paranormal investigator, I was the first one to really bring that up because it was at the time when it was starting to come up.
Yeah.
So I hit it perfect in that sense. So everything that was recorded, documentary thing that I have, and you know, that nobody's ever had before there.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have seen stuff, but like
They have no documentation.
right, like the scratches that I have, that
The pictures.
the pictures, the one where that lady, female's looking outside.
Yeah.
When I felt somebody there. So all of that's documented. The gym where I have all those pictures, and you can see different spirits there. So I mean, if you get a chance, you can the first interview. That way you can get a feel, and then you can
Come back to
come back to part 2,
Yeah.
and it continues. But the part 2 was more like employee personnel that were getting more like involved, like where the spirits were like aggressive toward them. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end it with some experiences I had DJing. The last 2.
Yeah.
The first one is at the Gunther Hotel. That hotel is old as well. It's weird because that hotel, the alley to bring in all your stuff is, very narrow. It's hard. I mean, if you have a lot of stuff, man, you're gonna have a hard time. I tell you, that was one of the hardest to load up and all that. Unload, load up, go up to the floor. So we were doing a quince, and we were all set up and everything, and there was a surge protector that we always plug in everything. Well, I was standing right by it, and then all of a sudden it just yanked out. The extension cord just yanked.
Oh wow.
I mean, it just like yanked. Somebody got it, just yanked it out.
Just yank it
Because if it would have just fallen, it would have just fallen straight down.
Right.
If it was loose, it would just fill. This one was yanked, and so. And I told my son, I said, "Man, did you see that?" He goes, "Nah, I didn't see that." I said, "Man, that extension cord just yanked out." So,
Wow.
and I had heard that one is haunted too, the Gunther. So, I mean, that's part of it also. That I believe maybe he didn't want us there.
Yep.
Didn't want music or. So that was the Gunther Hotel. Now, my last experience was a VFW. I don't recall the number, but it's on Frio City Road. It's supposed to be. It's right at the corner, like close to General Huddendale and Frio City. I had read that it was haunted, and we were going to be doing a gig there. So I read up on it, and it did say, that it was haunted, past soldiers that they knew, or
Yeah.
or somebody saw them and they recognized them. So I already had it, that I already knew that it was already, something was going on. So as soon as we got there, my son and I, as soon as I walked into that VFW, it was like the energy was strong, like
Oh my goodness.
aggressive.
Oh
It
wow.
felt
Like
aggressive.
a
Negative energy.
Hmm.
That's what it felt like. And then when I felt it, I said, "Oh, okay, I feel
Yeah.
you. I know you're here." So we proceeded to unload, start setting up on the stage that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my son was over here on this side, on the other side of the stage, setting up. Well, I was putting up a speaker on the stand. As I was doing that, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a black object come flying right
What?
through me and hit the wall
Oh,
where I was at. And then my son said, "What was that?" I said, "Something just threw something at me. It hit the wall behind me. You
Oh
could
my
hear
goodness.
it. You could hear like a little rock or something."
You heard
But I
it.
saw it at the side. So I just kind of like moved, and it just flew by.
Wow.
And then I was like, "What the heck?" I guess they don't like DJs, or they didn't like me telling them, "Hey, I know you're here,"
Yeah.
or something. For it to be that aggressive, to throw something at me, it didn't like me, for some reason, So then, as the night progressed, the bartender there, I had told him about it. I said, hey, you know what happened? I told him, my experience. And he goes, wow, I've never heard that before. I go, we've had bands, DJs,
Yeah.
He goes, I've never heard of something being thrown at a band member or DJ.
Wow.
I said, well, I guess I'm the first,
Yeah.
So he was saying that that place is real haunted.
Dang.
That, the name General Hutdale is he says that's his place of where he's hangs out.
That was his post.
Yeah, that's where he hangs out.
Oh, wow.
That they've seen him there.
Wow.
That they've seen soldiers in the mirrors. Also, they see a lot. He was telling me, oh my gosh, there was a lot of stuff.
Is that VFW still standing today?
Yes. But with all this pandemic, they're not
everything's
open.
They're probably not open.
Yeah.
I
So
think we need to get in there.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
And he had told me,
Give it a shot.
he had told me, I don't know if he still works there or not, but he had told me, he says, yeah, whenever you get a chance, come back, because there's two parts. There's the VFW part and where they have the quinces and all the parties and everything. But, that's the first time I ever had something thrown at me. I've been scratched. That's,
That was the first time actually thrown at you.
yeah, actually thrown, and I saw it out of nowhere.
You saw it coming.
Out of nowhere, out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, man.
And it hit the wall. For it to hit the wall, it was kind of fast.
Yeah.
I was throwing that. So,
Man.
I'm glad he didn't have good aim or he wasn't trying to hit me. I don't know.
It was just trying to spook you.
Yeah.
Because it probably would have hit you.
Yeah. But in closing, I hope everybody, I try to give you the best of my experiences there at St. Gerard's and personal. If you can, like I said, you can check out part 1 and then you can check out part 2. You can put them together. It's a lot of stuff I've been through over 10 years, of doing it. And but I just can't stress, St. Gerard's, that place, man. Paranormal investigator, that's a gold mine right there.
Oof.
That'd
be nice.
We saw 3 spirits in here.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
In one room.
Oh yes, in one room.
Yeah.
I can imagine you over there.
Cool.
Yeah.
As much it has there. But in closing, like I said, I'd like to thank everybody for checking out San Antonio Dead Seekers. Thanks for the interview. And then, hopefully.
Now you're part of San Antonio Dead Seekers.
Yes, thank you.
Now you're a member?
Glad to be a part of
Because
it.
part 1 he was just a
Yes.
seeker. Now
He was
he's
a seeker, now he's a dead
actual
seeker.
member.
Yes, and man, it's awesome.
And if you missed it, or if they missed it, give them the name of that show you were on and the episode and all that.
That's right. I came out on Paranormal Night Shift, episode 3, Clown Boy's Revenge. And that's what I was going to say. I forgot to tell you. It's no longer on YouTube free. It moved to premium where you have to pay.
So now you got to pay for that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely worth it though.
Yes. It moved from YouTube to streaming.
Yeah.
But if you have whoever you have cable with, Travel Channel on demand.
Yeah.
Paranormal Night Shift, episode 3, Clown Boy's Revenge. You can still see it like that.
Awesome.
So, in closing, thank you everybody, and we'll see you live.